We have a rule, Mosai Yagir Masai to myself. When you judge yourself, you always have to say, where do you come from? Who your parents, who your grandparents are, and when will you reach the potential that the Almighty gave you and the way you know your potential is by knowing the Avos, our ancestors, your role model. Your role model. Not all the time when you think you're looking at your role model and you really mean well, do you follow? We have a very famous story of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu had a choice. This last week said that. Had a choice that the Almighty said, after you will destroy the Midianites, then you will go to the next world. He had a choice. That what should he do? He should decide. Here all the time he prayed to Hashem, Hashem, please, I want to go to Eretz Yisrael. Is this the reward I get? This is the hard work I do? Is this what I'm getting for my reward? This is what I get. And Hashem says, no way, you can't get to Eretz Yisrael. Even like an animal, you can't go. He made a decision that what? That he's going to care about Kavod Hashem, the honor of Hashem, and the dignity of the Jewish people. He's going to fight against the Midianites, because they destroyed the honor and dignity of the Almighty and the Jewish people, and that's what he has to, let's call old business. He's getting old, he's going to be 120 years of age. He has to now put things together, old business together. He wanted to bring justice into the world, to show the Klal Yisrael in front of him that the Almighty is just, there's judgment, and he has to bring judgment to the world, and lived happily ever after, and the bad people get hurt and the good people win, of Schar V'Onesh. He had to do it. And he had a wonderful student called Yoshua. And it says, Yoshua lo yomish v'piyol. He was mamish, a real student of, he didn't leave the tent. He was mishamish, his Rebbe worked very hard. And he saw what his Rebbe did. And he said, he also said, when will I reach the stage to be like Moshe Rabbeinu? And he's working. Hashem said, now you're going to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. You now have leadership. Moshe Rabbeinu trained you. Now you're going to go into the world with all the training of a Talmud Neman, of a real Talmud of Moshe Rabbeinu, bring him to the world. And that's why he put him into the world. Take his sons, take other people. He picked Yoshua to be the leader of Klal Yisrael after him. Now, Yoshua said, there's going to be one difference between me and my Rebbe. He had a choice of extending his life in order to help qualitative build Klal Yisrael. And it's better 1 hour in this world than all the next world, doing Torah mitzvahs, and he's able to qualitatively increase the quality of Klal Yisrael. Or do Midian. I'm going to do the opposite. He did wrong because he left us, although he fixed up everything, he left us in a mess. Had my leader, my Rebbe would have been here, things would have been different. If Ima would be here, it'd be different. If Abi would be different. Okay. So he decides, when he also has the same test, that he has to divide up Eretz Yisrael. So the commandos come in and they clean the area up, and the Palmach, whatever you want to say, and they clean the area up. They go on people. They clean the area up, and then they have to divide the land. So he just said, I will extend it along the time, because the Jewish people are all fighting together, all kinds of problems, like all Jewish people every day in the newspaper. In those days it was even bigger. So he decided he's going to take a longer period of time and not divide up Eretz Yisrael, conquer all the rest of Eretz Yisrael. So he never really conquered all of Eretz Yisrael, but he definitely did his job. He divided up the Eretz Yisrael to the tribes. Because he did that, thinking he was smarter than his Rebbe, he lost 10 years of his life. The critique that he had of his Rebbe was that he should have done differently. He loved his Rebbe, he tried to follow his Rebbe out. He was going to improve on what his Rebbe did. He lost 10 years of it. It's not easy to follow. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu did what Hashem said. It's very difficult to follow and do. Very difficult. You read a recipe. Follow the recipe. Everybody, somehow the Yetzer Hara of women There's a pinch here, a little more, a little less. To do the recipe exactly to the T is not easy. Maybe beginning to cook, that's what you do. But if you know how to cook and you're already experienced baker and experienced, right, it's 1, 2, no problem. You don't need this, you substitute this, you substitute that. It'll be okay, the same thing. So now we want to understand Rivka. We want to understand Sarimeh. We want to understand Rachel and Leo. These are your models that you want to follow. That's what you do good, you're going to follow. That which they, and Ein Tzaddik Rosh Hashanah said, Tov V'lo Yech. There's no good person in the world that does good and doesn't sin. So there's always improvement, no question about it. And once it's already there in the world, so then surely you have to know what to do in such a case. Maybe they failed, but you will learn about these things, so you're able to always improve and change. So now we're talking about Sarimeh. We said that in the house of Avraham Avinu was like the Shechina, like a mikdash. Avraham Avinu is emulating Mahu Afatu, the Almighty is merciful, kind, Kulo Chesed, and therefore what does he do? All his deeds are only L'Shem Shamayim to do Chesed. And naturally, he has a student, his wife, also is doing the same thing. Avraham Avinu is Magayer, the man, and women, the women. Each one to his own nature of understanding. And he had to have this wonderful house, which has Shechina, the greatest thing that could be. And in the house, we have Sarimeh acting, in her way, doing the heights, and it reached the point where it said to Avraham Avinu, Shema B'Kolo. So you put the two on the table, we see that Sarimeh reached the tremendous heights. That Abraham, normally Isha Kshevish Shumasa Kol Bala, a good woman listens to her husband, and here we have a case where the husband has to listen to the wife. In Ruchnius, right? Oh my gosh, okay? So she had to reach a high level. So we asked the question, so how could it be that Sarimeh, when it came to her relationship with Hagar, she was very tough and hard on Hagar, to such a degree that Hagar ran away. What happened? How do you explain that?
Didn't she throw her out?
Well, she ran away.
Yeah.
So how can she, what kind of, we have all these famous Hasidic stories, that the husband's going out, and the wife says, where are you going? I'm going to the court to defend the maid. Because the wife found that the maid stole or did something wrong, and she's taken him to the court, the maid to the court for stealing and not doing things right, and going in front of the Rav and the Bezdin. And she asks, where are you going? I'm going to the court. Where are you going? I'm going there to defend the maid. You read all the stories in the books, you read all these stories, so how come here? I mean, she should care about the underdog, the problems. What happened over here? Okay, she has a right to say to her husband, listen, I want this woman to be with me. I don't want this woman to inherit with my son, or he has a bad influence. That may be true, but how come she pressed so hard? And you read the Torah, it's very hard to explain. So today, I hope that we will read it. I hope I have enough copies to talk about that interesting part. And I want to explain it in a very important way. And okay, let's do that. We have more limited copies than all the copies anymore. Just this issue. Let's see how many copies I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And one for myself. So I got 13 copies. So people have to look 3 together or so. And I want these back, please. The reason I need these back, because this book is sensitive. This was printed and taken off the market. We don't talk about why. I mean, I was zeicher to learn by him, and knew him. He spoke to him. I helped him, and I hold he's correct. Why I was taken over with another story, not for now, but we'll pass it out three together, please. I would not teach it to you if I didn't feel it was right. Not promise. Maybe three together. So. Maybe come a little closer. Okay, I'll have to talk louder. Okay. So we want to talk about this story here. Now we have to know that Hagar, her father was the king of Egypt. And he saw the greatness of Sarah, and he said, I want to have my daughter to rather be a slave to Sarah than her marrying the prince or a king somewhere else. And not only the father recognized it, it's Chazal that she herself recognized it. Her desire. She made a decision. It's better for me ruchnias, spirituality, than all the other gashmias. And I'll go everything I want. No. So she made that decision. Now he said that Hagar was greater than Eliezer because Eliezer came from Orur, and Orur cannot marry Baruch. So when it came to the shidduch of Eliezer, wanted that he should his son, his daughter should marry Yitzchak. So Abraham said clearly, no. Why? You're Orur and we're Baruch. Get out of here. It doesn't fit all out together. But it took him Samach Zayin, how many years was that? 67 years to change his whole personality. A person can change from a curse of Orur to Baruch. But when did he get it? It was only after he was tested. To go and bring to the Yitzchak to find a girl for Yitzchak, then he passed the test, and then already he was out of Orur, but it was too late. Yitzchak already had Rivka. Hashem found a way another way. He never died, he went to heaven. Now it took Hagar 10 years. Girls, listen here, look over here. How many years did it take for Hagar to change from Orur to Baruch? 10 years. So she was definitely a quicker, faster learner. She worked very hard, diligently, to change her whole being. Most people today are just into adjust, to behavioralistic, fit in somehow, like the Western world teaches you. She was able to change her whole being, which is against all the Christian ideas. A person can't change, they're doomed, they're gone. He actually able to change the whole personality and being. Imagine you can change it totally. Be a different girl, wouldn't recognize who you are. She wasn't afraid to kill herself, a person of who she is, lose her identity, because she wanted this new identity of an Isha Kshera, a new identity of a tzaddik. She wanted an identity of from Orur to Baruch. That's a total change in the whole being. You can't believe it. They can't even do it today down in San Francisco, or all these places down in Los Angeles have all these places, all these modern techniques and methods. They can't produce it. She was able to do it where? In the house of Avraham, a place with the direction, in the direction and the leadership of Sarah Imenu. She was able to have this school and produce these wonderful qualities, and they're just now just everybody's elevated and changed their whole being. And usually that's what we're supposed to do in Eretz Yisrael. We come back after the exile. And Eretz Yisrael and Yerushalayim, the whole thing is supposed to help change. That's provided you want to change and you really go out of here and you really develop and really change. Most people don't want to change because they're afraid they'll change where they're going to be. They're going to look for themselves. Where am I? And who am I? I won't recognize myself. And what happened to my past? All these things. Where am I going to be? But in Judaism, there's a certain bitochen emunah we have that we believe in God, and if we're able to make the quantum leap to change ourselves totally to the image and the way that Hashem wants us to be. Okay? So now we have Hagar, and how do we know she changed? Because Sarah went to Abraham and said, listen, Abraham, we can't have children. I'm going to give you my maid, and she's going to now be a wife. In order to be a wife, you have to move from Oro to Baruch. Not only that, it should be that she was able to get rid of a lot of the kin and sinner, because usually a second wife is called a Sarah. A Sarah. And we explain carefully why did Chava give from the Eitz Hadas to her husband. So Rashi explains. What did Rashi say? If I die, my husband will marry somebody else. So therefore, better give him also. Let us both die together. I mean, so therefore there's a natural jealousy of a woman about another woman. It's natural in time of Chava. See, here she's going to have to do what? Sorry, Menu? She's going to have to, because she's a religious woman, has a goal in mind, very high quality, peak type of person, is able to now take this woman who she trained, and now going to give her over as a wife to Avram. Okay? What? After 10 years of going to the school of Avram with Sarah Imenu, the proper guidance. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to read the story.
Where does it start, Rabbi?
We're in the middle. You came late to this. We're already 3 weeks later. Okay? 3 weeks.
Are we in Gimel already?
We're on page what?
Are we in page up?
No, not yet. 1 minute.
Are we in base?
No, one second. Let me just get the place.
Okay.
I have to add one more point. She was told to leave the house not only with Sarah, but also
Okay.
1 second. Relax. Also, we also said what was the greatness of Hagar. I forgot to mention that Hagar, even though she left the house of Avinu, she was able to see a malach. 4 malachim came to her. And Eliezer didn't have that schus either. Here you have somebody who's in the house, when you're already no longer in the influence, on her own, she was able to have 4 malachim. And we mentioned that even Yitzchak, when he wanted to pray, which is mincha, we learned mincha is the highest prayer. Where did he pray? The place where the malachim came to. So therefore, and also was, question, who brings back Hagar to Abraham after Sarah dies? Some people say Yitzchak, etc., etc. I mean, it was not just there's different stuff. Anyway. And not only that, she was kicked out by Hashem, Tziv Hashem, because Hashem said Tavon would kick her out, Shema B'Kolo, and yet the Malachim they told her great things. Get up, don't worry, you're going to be a big person, you have a child with a great future. What does a woman like to hear? Your child's going to be great and big, an extension of yourself, and the woman in the background. So definitely it had all these wonderful things that it had there. I mean, she was a great spiritual woman. So we can't say nobody. Okay? She had Ruach HaKodesh. Okay. So she's a great woman. Okay. It's on Pei Gimel now. Do I have Pei Gimel? Yeah. Pei Gimel. We're going to skip a little bit. We're going to do Pei Gimel. Okay. The last paragraph. Okay, it says by the I'm sorry, no, we'll go a little further. Yitzchak bor lemoy be'alechi. In other words, she named the place Be'alechi, and Yitzchak came and he, according to the Raman, prayed there where those malachim came. So where does Mincha come? From the place where this woman Hagar Hashem saw. Okay. Now, there's a problem. How come Sarah, if she was such a great woman who had Nevi'os, how come she didn't see in Hagar all these qualities? That the Malach is going to come. So that's going to explain now, and then we're going to explain what the argument was. Pay Dalet on the bottom. Pay Dalet. Girls, if I were you, I'd bend over and try to see. You know, years ago, they had one book and 6 people on the one talus would read. In my yeshiva, everybody would bend and see. You got to share it. They have. Who doesn't have a copy? Or at least a copy to see? Okay. When you're ready, everybody should read. V'yin hamoshel mara hamelech. There's a mara. Yesh lo lohavin shehu histaklus befonav k'dei lamod al soid remizosu b'teich barak einov v'orpanav. V'anavim hakdoshim sheim moroimei pnei hamelech v'anshei sodom k'ne'emar ki lo as Hashem dovar im ki im gilo soido el avodav hanavim. In other words, before Hashem did anything, He already revealed it to His servants. So therefore, He must have revealed already to a sorry Mena what the future is going to be. Av yesh lahem midas hatznius, shelo tishtamish beruach hakodesh shebahem, lehistakel ulirois inyonoham hapratim beiskei hachaim shalahem. It's a very important word. Let's say God gave you you have a special perception, and you're able to know what people think and what people do. There are a lot of women like that. They have to know there's a special perception. You have these people, there's a guy like Marcus, all over the world, many people. And you have their secrets of why don't they use it for themselves to advance themselves, their own life? You have these talents. The answer is because of midah of sneeze. Sneeze, if you know something, it means you use it. Sneeze holds you back. Sneeze of sorry Mena held her back. Kimu benafshim tomim tiye im Hashem Elokecha. Livcha b'toa pisichlam hazach ukefi das tarishalim. When they had to do their own actions, they didn't quickly run down and ask the Urim v'Tumim or the Nevuah, what should I do? They did it according to their understanding. Now, why is that? I must explain to you. The Malmi Diskin explains that Moshe Rabbeinu was the only one, when he had Nevuah, was Aspaklori Amira. It's very clear. Like exactly what Hashem said, and therefore when he wrote the Torah, it was Aspaklori Amira. It was clear. And therefore it has the din of Torah, what Hashem. If you're not allowed to add or subtract. Bilam, also God gave him Aspakla Amira, and therefore it says in certain psukim, certain texts, and it's Torah's Moshe and Bola. And Bilam. Bilam is Parsha Bola. It's called Bola. And all Moshe did was copy it. If you don't add and subtract. But every other Novi, when he hears and sees the future, it's Aspakloria Lomir, it's not clear. It's only according to the person's understanding, logic, being of the person, that they get the conclusions. Therefore, a Navi, if he says there's going to be, let's say, there's going to be troubles, and people do tshuva, it changes. So the words of a Navi can change. But the words of the Torah can never change. You can't add or subtract. Because it's built upon aspaklaria lo mira, not a clear, built upon the person's understanding, who they are and what they are. And if the nerve is pure, somewhere along the line it dripples down, and that's what it is. This is brought down Rav Yehuda Leib Diskin, one of our great Torah scholars. So therefore, when it came to the personal life of Sarah and Abraham, they did not go to Nevuah. They did it according to what? According to their being who they are and their work that they did for Avodas Hashem. The work that they did for Avodas Hashem was the way they understood and the way they decided. I want to add a little piece on the side here. That the only way when people want to emulate God and they think that they cannot do it without Torah, they can emulate Hashem, but only through Torah. Torah purifies oneself. And therefore the spaklaria, the way you see it depends how you are, and the learning of Torah straightens out the brain and the midos and everything else, and your yirat shamayim, you have to have it. And then when you hear the words of Hashem, you're able to decipher it and make the right value decision. It doesn't come because you have a good head, you have a high IQ, and you have to feel and know and understand. It has nothing to do with it. It has to, there's certain rules and regulation that it comes through the individual, and one has to work very hard. Yirat shamayim and learning Torah in order to get the right answers, what Hashem wants. And therefore, we added a side piece I explained to everybody. If you really have Avas Yisrael, people make a mistake. It's not just I have Avas Yisrael. The only way you get Avas Yisrael is you have Avas Hashem and through the learning of Torah. It's hinging on the learning of Torah. Have real Avas Yisrael. You may not find it around much. You don't see it around. And we mentioned another point, very important point, that Avram Avinu loved every human being. There was no Yisrael at the time of Avram Avinu. Every human being he loved. So the shivui, amishkol of I'm a human being, I have feelings and all that, that is pre-Avraham, that's Avram's time, and that's every human being. Every human being was created in the image of God. You have to have good feelings, every human being. But the quality of Avos Yisrael has nothing to do with human being. It's the added love, another dimension that God has to the Jews, that upon the regular feeling between equation, everybody's good, feelings of people and everything else, human beings and rights, upon that is an added quality called Avos Yisrael. And that only comes with really understanding Hashem and following Hashem and following the ways of Avos Yisrael. It's not Avos Habrios, everybody has Avos Habrios. That's before. Avos Yisrael is a special quality. And therefore, when it came to stir Kamsa Bar Kamsa, the Chachamim were punished. Why? Because in their aspaklaria, the way of seeing, they should have worked out their Torah more to understand and see the conclusions that this guy is going to squeal or snitch, or this person says, listen, don't do this because they're going to bring all kinds of laws, wrong laws to the people. They'll think that you can bring a carbon this way and it really couldn't be with a mum. They should have seen with the individual of the idea of their seichel, of their understanding, and to their logical conclusion that this is the wrong way. And because they didn't do it, they were punished. And the Churban came. Because the Avos Yisrael that they had was limited, and it wasn't, they didn't see the aspect of the Torah, of the logical conclusions that they had in the Avos Yisrael to come out, to be able to have Avos Yisrael and not to get involved with this person. That they should stay away, or they should have done something else. Avos only comes from, it's hinged on the Avos HaTorah and the learning of Torah. Not like people think. It's a different world, yeah.
So they were supposed to move it, even if they moved?
Yes, in this case. Yeah. He didn't move. The Gemara said he didn't.
But they had a Ruach HaKodesh? They didn't use it?
I just told you, it's aspakle lo meira. They didn't work out their midos right. When a woman doesn't work out all the midos, she gets the wrong conclusion. She may have coming from a good point. It feels good. I really come from a good point. Listen, I really coming from a good point, an honest point. It has nothing to do with the story. Everybody comes from a good point. If you come from a bad point, surely it's bad. But you have to come out, and you need the Seichel HaNushi and the laws of the Torah and the Yirat Shamayim in order to come out with the right conclusion. That's called Aspakle Lo Meira. And that's why we say women have a problem. Daitakalas, etc., in order to get there. But there's certain things that Bini Yisrael that have a plus and there's a minus. You have to know how to come to the conclusions of it. Anyway. So therefore she did not, below Hey is, she didn't have the nerve, the chutzpah. L'isnanek al pi yedios misoid Hashem. She wouldn't go to those things. As it says, Bahade kish rachman olamali. Lama. Was what are you getting involved in God's world? Leave God alone. You're in the world. The world is a finite world. Your mighty is infinite. We're finite. And in the Torah, basically, it talks about finite rules. Person kills or steals something, there's legal rules. There's no mercy. There's no tshuva on that. Where does tshuva come? Only not in the Bria, in the creation, but in the Borei, in the Almighty, His purpose. Tshuva has nothing to do with the world of the Bria, of the creation. That's the world with the Borei. And man, God gave him free choice to be involved with the world of the Borei. But that's different rules. And that has to be only with a worked out head and a worked out midas, a worked out, working wheel on your midah, and then you're able to understand what the Borei wants. And it's not, of course, an hashkafa you learn, and that's all there. It doesn't work. It's hard work, as we'll see right away. So therefore, what did she do? Sorry, Meinu Hagdola Shebenadios Simses Penel, like you close the mind. Shalolares Hamelach Laman Das Antida Shal Shivcha. She didn't want to look at the future. Aval HaShivcha Zoch LeRuach HaKodesh B'Shvil HaGevira Shenismacho Aleha. Very strange. She was independent of the maid, but the maid was still hinged on her. And we'll see right away. And she went out of her way to see what is going to be her future. Again. Shari Meinu in her tznius, even though she's great and big, what did she do? She didn't go down and work on miracles. She worked on the Olam Hazeh with the rules that God gave us in the Torah. After you work out your own rules, the Gemara Nida says, you work it out, and then where man stops, God comes in. If you work out your midos in yourself and you stop, then you rely upon God comes in. You don't rely upon God when you can do it yourself. That's a bizoyon to God to come in. It goes on following the list. Okay. So what happened here was, sorry man who used that tznius, she didn't push, she bent, she worked out herself, and somehow Hagar she pushed herself to see. She saw. But what?
The future was, even though Sarah didn't look into the future.
That's it. Sarah did not look into the future. She didn't look in the future. She does what's in front of her. We don't go to palm readers, Mekubalim, and all that stuff, the future, what's going to be. We don't make decisions on it. We don't do that. We do it on our seichel. That's why we say, a chacham is bigger than a navi. When do we go to a navi? When problems of the community. Going to be a war, not a war, good war, not war. Now let's read further. Hold on. Avokol masha rosa malach Hashem shenishlalom melech hoya rak b'schus hamatrona shehoisa mistameches olem. V'hamalach sheshol b'shloima korok lo b'shem hoga shivcha sora. Interesting. So her master, her teacher was what? Was Sarah. And Sarah, what did Sarah do? Tznius, she didn't ask the future. But the student, what did the student do? Pushed. Since I have the knowledge, I want to know my future. I got to know the future, what's going to be. I'm tired of it, I'm tired. I don't understand Hashem's way to write what's going to be. I got to know. Right? So she pushed very hard. And the reason why she saw anything really was why? Because of her Sarah, her model was tznius and didn't look. So because of that schus, she was able to see. Just the opposite. And she thought, what did she think? Me, I'm bigger than her. And she always thought it was better. And not only that, she should have caught right away. And the Malach said to her, how are you Hogar, the shifcha of Sarah. How does the Malach relate to her? Here's the Malach visiting her and says, how are you, Hogar? That's tremendous. Malach, I can see Malach, she's a Malach. But Hogar, shifcha Sarah, the slave of Sarah. She should have caught on right away. Did she catch on right away, girls? What?
Right now she was addressed.
That's right. Did she catch on, girls? No way. Why would she catch on? Because when you think of yourself and your needs, you don't read the map properly. The map is not good. The second said, where do you go? Back. Listen to your husband. Listen to your father. Listen to the rabbi. Don't be so independent. My mind, I feel, I want. That's called Ritzonos. That's called Olam Hazeh. That's called Yetzer Hara. But we know that the Torah, God created Yetzer Hara. Well, God created Torah Tavim. What destroys the Yetzer? Only Torah. Nothing. What do women do? They've got a problem. Listen to the husband. Listen to that. To Torah. God's Torah. They asked. The only thing she could accomplish is what? Through Sarah. Okay? Okay. Now, we're going to skip that piece. I like to read it, but the time is real late. I'll read it. You got to read it. Okay, everybody's going to run away, but I can't help it. This is very important, girls. If you want to learn the... We got a little insight into the depth and the secrets of our holiness. We now get a little insight of who was Amravinu, who was Sarmin, who was Hagar. So now we build up everybody as a Tzelem Elokim, great personalities. Okay? So now how can great personalities act like this low life? We'll see right away. How come? What happened over here? Like a change, we'll see right away. Shadon Im Avdo Hagvira Im Ashifcha Hoyo Kohanim Amisham Zebekot Hashem. Everybody was serving in the holiness of Hashem, in the Beis Hamikdash of Hashem. The Beis Shalom Avinu Shashchina Hoyse Shua Shem Tomid. The Shechina was there. V'avodosam Kol Hayom Hoya Rak L'Zachek U'L'Tayar Kol Koiches HaNefesh HaMatzmuni Alev. What were they doing there? What are they doing all day long? What I want, I don't want to do this. I'm busy here. I got to do this. I got to do that. What were they doing? What are they doing? Let's read out loud. Read out loud. Kol Hayom Hoya Rak. Read it out loud. You can't even find the place. You lost it, of course. That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah. Over here. Read it out loud. Loud!
כל היום היה רק לברכך ולתאר כל משפחות הנפש ונצומי הלב.
Stop. What were they doing all day long in the house of Avraham Avinu? Purifying their hearts and soul. Were they getting ideas? Were they learning more ideas? They had a sharper tongue. They developed, what did they develop? What did they do all day long? In the house of Avraham. What did Sarah do? What are they doing all day long? They're working on themselves. Is that what they do in Beis Yaakov? They do it by Roveda, do that? Do they? I don't know who these ladies are, I don't know. They do that in your yeshiva? No one? Show me one yeshiva in the world of girls that they do. Show me. I'm ready to listen. Show me. Not Beis Chana by Chabad. No way.
Who said they don't do it by us?
Well, show me. What do you do? You work on that all day? How do you purify your heart? Tell me.
We have classes.
What does the class teach you? Be good, be kind, don't have Lashon Hara. That's all the ideas that they work on you. There's something knowing what to do, and there's the workshop, how to do it. You know, that's how I teach our watching. Watch how I play the violin. I see simple. See the violin? Now go and do it. How many lessons take just to do like this little thing that you do right now? You ever play any instrument? It's a lot of work. From theory to practice, art, doing art, You're learning art. Oh, I got ideas. Go put the ideas on paper. Go ahead. Do you come out of Rembrandt, Van Gogh? What comes out of the work you come? What do? You come out of a nice thing. You'll like it. If you made it, it's yours. Your husband loves it. Your friends. You can sell it for $100 in the street. Whatever it is. But it's not a master. These are masters. They're working all day long on themselves. You work all day long on yourself. You matter yourself. Sure, your father said, don't you? I'm teasing you, Chaim. You can take it. If you couldn't take it, I wouldn't do it. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't do it. You have to know that. I fixed on you, not picking anybody. And this is a very hard thing to do. That's why we have vad musas for women. Not to express their view, it's to work on themselves. At a certain point, you must work on yourself and grow. You need vad musas, you need to grow. You grow spiritually and things. And you want to medagdik to the zaki. That's what they did in that yeshiva. What they do there, how can this woman whose aura changed to be bara, which nobody in the world can change their personality, being enough habits, it's hard to change. Losing weight is hard to change. Do anything, you just change anything that you even were born with to change. Kal v'chomer and kal v'chomer l'zake. To what degree? They produce, what's the result? What's the outcome over there? What's the outcome of the house of Sari Meino and Abraham? Yeah, but more than that, they're able to see, they get the Noam Hashem. What does Noam mean? Anybody know what a Noam? Pleasant, sweet. Imagine, I would see the faces of the young girls in the Ashby Shiur school. The sweetness, the happiness, the shininess, every word. And that's exactly there. It's hard to get, This is we're talking about the masters. Only enjoyment in this what? What's your enjoyment in life? Lavake becholom. Achashauti meis Hashem oisan shifti beishem koyim. Right? You're on vacation. Where are you going to run to?
The girls' school.
The girls' school. That's what you girls do. I want to say kol hakavod for you girls. Right? Kol hakavod you girls. You split your time off the bucket. Really, that's what what we're doing now, pat yourself on the back. Come on, girls. Take your hand. Come on, pat yourself on the back. You got to do it. Go ahead, girls. Do it. I'm telling. No, your right hand over your left shoulder. Come on. Right hand. Come on. No, not the other one. Do it yourself. Come on. Do it. Come on. I want you to do it. Do it. No, your right hand over your left shoulder. Come on. Pat yourself on the back. I think it's kol hakavod for you girls. I really am. Kol hakavod. Kol hakavod. It's really good. You have to feel good about it. You really reach the madrega to do that. I think really basically one of the reasons why you came, you want to see where your parents studied, what they did, what happened to them. Why your mothers and fathers are always in that official power? When all odds are against them, parents and everybody's society. What made them pick? These type of lessons in Mussar and growth and development. And everybody here belongs to a Vad. Vad Mussar, growth and happiness. And I agree it's a closed group. Why it's a closed group? Because when you reveal yourself to 5, 6 women, you can't have new people come in and reveal more and more. And you achieve yourself. You're ready to open your heart to a group of women who open their heart to you, open your heart to them. And you know it's a safe ground. You don't open your heart every second to every guy that comes, Meet somebody in the bus and you spill out the whole story about yourself. You don't know that. Then where's your personal pride? Where's your tznius? It doesn't work that way. But therefore you have to work. Therefore these groups are closed. That's what they did. That's what they did. I learned this from I learned in Gateshead. The Navardic that came to Gateshead. They used to do that. They used to get the groups together. That's what Navardic did. They got groups together to develop themselves, personal growth. And the ones who criticize your friends and yourself to be open. And you need it when you get married, even more than otherwise. When you need friends, you get older now. You do what you want. You feel. You're proud of it. But when you get older, it becomes more sensitive and harder to admit things about yourself and want to change yourself. I tell a story. I was Zocher a little bit, and Zocher all the way. The Vilnai, the guard. You ever heard of Vilnai? There's a guy named Vilnai who's the aluf in Eretz Yisrael. Ever hear about Vilnai? Anyway, what? The army, the government. His father was Vilnai the guy. His father's Vilnai the guy. What? Vilnai, okay. Okay, anyway, so his father calls me up. And he calls me, he wants to do tshuva. So I come over and see him, he wants to do tshuva. But he has afraid. All his life he fought against religion. So how can he do tshuva? All his friends, who's his friend? Like, Dorian was a friend. All these old guys, all these people, Paris and Paris, all these guys are his friends. All these friends. He's from the Marak, all these left guys. How are you going to do tshuva? He wants to do tshuva. So what do I do? So I told him Benjamin Franklin at the end of his lifetime. You ever read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin? Do you ever read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin? No. You read it, you'll find out. Because it's very important. That he wanted to do tshuva at his end of life. He wanted to be religious at the end of his life. But he couldn't. You know why? People would laugh at him. So what are you doing over here? You fought us all day, made fun of him. What are you doing here? So you had an embarrassment. It's very hard in old age to do tshuva. Because it's like your whole past. They would say, where are you? What are you doing? What's happening to you? You're crazy or something? And there's a lot of social pressure. Unless you're really strong internally and you make a decision, right? And you're strong and forget about the society. Anyway, he talked to me this and that. I talked to him, so I come back to him. I wasn't sick. I made another appointment. Then he passed away in that month. I felt very bad. But at least he wanted to do tshuva at the end. Not every time you have a chus to do tshuva. If you want to do tshuva. It's hard to do tshuva when you're older than you're young. Very hard. Because all your whole life is like it turns to zero. You don't want to be zero, you want to be something. You want to say, you know who I am? You know what I did in life? You know what I mean? And it's very hard. It's much harder. And here they taught the people how to change the whole being. Why? Because they had total faith in God to change and to be a different person and a better person. Because where do they want to go to? The next world, which is Nitzchi, which is eternal. Just for the physical world, or who they are, what they are. They didn't have to worry about that, then who they are right here. But that's not important. The important thing is where they're going to be in the next world, what's going to be in eternity, or what they're going to end up with at the end. Okay? So now we're to the point. Now we'll be able to understand a little bit of the thing. What was the story between, what was the relationship? What was the story between Sarah and Hagar? If you look at it like you're a Bible critic or just reading the Bible quickly and reading the Torah, and you figure, I'm so smart, I have this high IQ, I already know what to understand life, I'm a psychologist, psychiatrist, I know all the philosopher, I know all the secrets of the world, I tell everybody about everybody else, what they do and why they do and how they do, and I also why God does this or why God does that. I know all the answers. It's very hard to understand. Why was she so hard and strict on her? She not only that she pressed her husband. Why do you let this woman make fun of me? Make me light in your eyes? She's pressing on. What is she fighting for her life? What's happening over here? Why is she pressing so on, sir? That's tzedakah. You can't say she's wrong, but she's right. So why is she pressing so hard? No?
You're saying she's pressing hard, like it's sort of easy for us to identify, but not what
But that's not what's happening.